Unfortunately, humanity has a recurring issue of not recognizing the right of its own species. We can see countless examples of discrimination against race, gender, and even sexuality. In the 50s, homosexuality was listed as a mental illness in the DSM. Although we've come a long way, we still have much more to go. In March, a Reddit user made a post detailing his horrific experience when he was forced into a gay conversion therapy camp at age 15. He has very limited information on the whereabouts of the camp, and needs help from anyone who has any information on this to get justice for the victims. Please listen carefully and spread this video so we can help. This began in New York in June of 2004, when this user was 15 years old. We'll just call him Josh from this point on. One night, he was abruptly told by his mother to pack some clothes for an unknown reason. At 6 o'clock the following morning, he was woken up to be brought to the North White Plains metro station. From here, him and his mother walked to a bus stop on Harlem Avenue. After waiting for a while, an unmarked cargo van pulled up to the bus stop. Josh's mother told him that he was going to summer camp and told him to get into the van. Inside the car, there were two other boys around his age. They were all told to sit down and be quiet. They made a few stops to pick up some other kids too, but none of them knew where they were going because the windows were covered. After several hours of driving, they finally arrived at the camp. It was dark outside when they arrived. The only light was coming from a plain, beige, short building next to a gravel parking lot. When they were led inside, they were brought to a room with 3 bunk beds, assigned a bunk, and told to go to sleep. Their bags were also taken from them to be inspected and given back in the morning. They weren't allowed to have their phones, MP3 players, journals, pens, or anything like that. The only thing they were allowed to keep was their clothes. In the morning, they were taken to a lounge area and given a speech about why they were all there. They were told they were ill with homosexual urges and were going to be cured. Their daily schedule was wake up, shower, breakfast, therapeutic activities, lunch, more therapeutic activities, dinner, relax, and sleep. These therapeutic activities included prolonged food and water fasts, which sometimes lasted days at a time, loud, screaming lectures about how homosexuality was immoral, being tied to chairs and forced to watch videos of homosexual behavior mixed with extremely graphic imagery, and group therapy sessions. During the group therapy sessions, they are told to sit in a circle and confess any homosexual feelings they had. During these confessions, they were beaten with paddles and sticks. During the last week of this camp, they were told they were going to start living the consequences of their sexuality. They were tied to chairs, and much larger men were brought in to molest them. After this awful experience, they were all dropped off where they were picked up. Josh got home on August 15th and was 15 pounds underweight, suicidal, and traumatized from the experience. To make matters worse, 4 months later, he found out he was HIV positive as a result of the abuse. After coming home, he was forced to see another conversion therapist in Brooklyn for 3 more years. There was no physical abuse with this therapist, just a verbal and emotional reinforcement. As mentioned before, the identity of this camp is still unknown, but this Reddit user provided us with some details from memory that could help us identify it. First of all, the facility was a large, modular, temporary building that looked sort of like this. It had a fenced-in gravel parking lot and was located in a secluded area with lots of trees. The original poster says he believes the van that picked him up was a Chevy Express. Based on the length of the drive, it may have been located in or near upstate New York. This is an interior diagram of the camp facility. The furniture in the waiting room was manufactured by a company called Lesro. As far as the camp demographic goes, most of the kids there came from various religious backgrounds, meaning the camp itself wasn't religious. All the kids that attended had also attended private schools, and most of their parents were conservative upper middle class. All the counselors working at the camp were white, except for 4. 3 were Latino and 1 was black. One of them had a European accent and was called Counselor Alex. A few months after the initial post was made, they made an update with a few further developments. He now has a lawyer on the case working with him. Someone on Reddit suggested looking into a Jewish conversion therapy organization named Jonah. After the original poster got in contact with a reporter who did some digging on Jonah, they were able to find his old conversion therapist that he saw in Brooklyn. With this information, they were able to shut down a few unlicensed conversion therapists in the same network. Additionally, they were able to subpoena Josh's mother's bank records in 2004 and found 2 of the men that his mother paid for the conversion therapy camp. Unfortunately, they both passed away. The main goal this Redditor has is to reach out to other survivors of the camp to try and find out who ran it to bring justice to its victims. He estimates that at least 120 minors went to this camp, but due to suicides and HIV, a lot of them could very well be deceased. I share this not to disturb you, but to further this cause. What happened to these people was awful. Please share this video, and if you have any information regarding this, send it to me or this Reddit user. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.